everyone, welcome to Year 3 English, Week 3, Lesson 11. So for today's lesson, we're going to be looking at a story map. So we're going to be focusing on the text of Pam and Lily while we're doing this PowerPoint. And then at the end, just like last week, you're going to go and do the same activity for the text of Curly to the Rescue. So remember, you should have two of those story maps, one that you can do while we're working together for Pam and Lily, and then the other that you can do when you're working independently for Curly to the Rescue. So on this activity today, we're going to be looking at the beginning, the middle, and the end of our story. All you're going to need to be doing for this activity for today is summarizing the key parts of our story to create our story map. So we're going to start with the beginning. So you'll need to think about the key things that happened at the beginning of the story of Pam and Lily. For this story map, you don't need a lot of detail. The one that we'll be doing in the next lesson will actually be broken up into a few more sections, and that will be the one that we are using to plan your own stories. Now, the next slide is actually going to go through and give you an example of what to put in here. So if you would like to go and have a go by yourself, please make sure you pause the video now and then press play when you're ready, and you can see what I've written as an example for this section of our story map. Okay, so I've written, Lily was a new girl who moved to the school. At the school, there was a mean girl named Pam. She was a bully. She would be mean to other students and be rude to teachers. So you can see there, I've added a bit of information, but I haven't put absolutely everything that was written in that story. I've summarized it up into a few sentences that tell me what the beginning of our story was about. So once you've written that, the only other thing you need to do is just go and draw a little bit of an image, a little bit of a picture in that box that will help give us more information about the beginning of our story. So it needs to match what you've written. So pause the video if you need to go and do that, and then press play when you're ready to come back and move on. Okay, so next we're going to fill out the middle of our story. So for this, you'll need to think about the key things that instead happened in the middle of the story for Pam and Lily. So this section might include the problem and the solution, or part of the solution. And for this map, you don't need to add lots of detail. Like I said, it's more of just a summary for this one. So I'm about to move on to where I give you my example of writing for this part of the section. I'd like you to press pause and go and have a go by yourself, and then you can come back and have a look at my example once you've done that. So please go and do that now. Okay, so this is my example. Lily was sad when Pam was mean to her. Lily's mum thought that Pam might have needed a friend. Lily went to school and tried to become friends with Pam by sharing her sandwich with her. So what I've put there is I've included, this is the middle part of our story. It includes where that big problem is. So obviously there was some little problems that were coming up that were at the start of the story, like Pam being mean. But when Pam was taking Lily's lunch and hitting her, that's when our big problem arose. Lily went home, talked to her mum, and her mum said, oh, well, maybe Pam needs a friend. So Lily then comes to school and tries to become friends with Pam by sharing her sandwich. She's being kind to Pam. So that there was our solution part of the story. So we've got our climax and most of our solution there, or our resolution. So all you need to do once again for that is add your little picture that you're going to draw to match what you've added into that section. If you need, pause the video and press play when you're ready to come back and continue moving on. Okay, so the last part of this activity for Pam and Lily for today is you'll need to think about the things that happen at the end of the story. So remember what we included in the middle. Now everything that's left over we're going to add into this. Obviously we don't need much detail, we're just summarizing again. So just a couple of sentences will do for this section for today. So you might include things that happened after the solution part, so the resolution, what is happening at the end, how did the characters all finish, what was the aftermath after that resolution or that solution was put into place in the story. So I'm about to move on to my example. Press pause, go and have a go, and then when you're ready, come back and press play again to keep moving on. So this was my answer for the end part of the story. Pam became a much nicer person. She would play with others at lunch and was nice to students and teachers. So this part really, I chose to talk about what had happened after that solution was put into place. So how did the story end? Obviously, most of the time you're going to see that change in that character again. And for us, it was Pam was now a nice person. So all you need to do once again is go and draw a little image to match your writing there, and then move on to the next slide when you're ready to continue. Okay, so that is us finished. Once you've finished all of those sections and you've drawn your matching pictures, the next thing now that you need to do is you're going to go and do that same story map for the text Curly to the rescue. Don't forget, when you finish, upload any work onto OneNote, or you can send it via email through to your teachers so we can mark it and give you some feedback.